Hello, everyone. So, for today's weekly Roundup Monday motivation, I'm going to do things with the notepad. The three main takeaways: knowledge, outer and inner knowledge are a powerful mix. You live your best life and soar when you nurture your uniqueness. This means nurturing character traits, but also paying attention to feelings. I'll expand in a minute. And three, opportunities are a constant, but they will become the maximum opportunity available to you once you start choosing consistently neutrality, unconditional love, and the knowledge that there does not have to be a why. In fact, when leading your own life from within, it is through the ego and self of you, through the self-trust of you. The opportunities are your choosing, for you say, this is coming my way, and you allow yourself to be in the infinite higher human potential space, which is only accessible when you're not closed-minded or closed from heart. And when you are in the idea that there has to be a why, so you have to have proof of that growth somewhere, somehow. It's not simply your trust of feeling, I'm dealing with something, I'm choosing. So trust in feeling because you're choosing to take it as an opportunity. You don't maximize. You still learn, you still grow. We always learn, we always grow. But like the 3D and 4D, as explained on the podcast episodes, you stay within a specific limited space because you will always have an external that can threaten you. That's why there's still fear in those states of consciousness. We discussed 3D, 4D, 5D as states of consciousness for anybody who has maybe not tuned into the episodes. So to expand a little bit more on knowledge, outer and inner knowledge. So outer knowledge, the books you read, the leaders you follow, everything from the subject matter experts, from the media, anything that to you consider knowledge, that's part of your journey. We coexist. The inner knowledge is about you trusting in your ego self. And so recognizing when there's doubt, and then using that external knowledge not to label yourself, which is what you initially do since you come from being a child as anybody else. So you're using the external to say, this is the reason for life. This is the reason for love. When you become empowered and or are choosing to pursue inner growth with wanting to follow your heart and achieve self-empowerment the way we discuss, this is where it's in neutrality. So the duality exists because, yes, we're humans. Our consciousness needs to understand. And by needs, I mean once we began thinking. Essentially, before that, we really didn't think of it as a need. We were responding with sense of security or not. And the body was doing what it needs to do to ensure from our nervous system's response that we were able to exist. So again, in the podcast to expand for anybody who has not tuned in, but the point is that knowledge, the outer world gives plenty of it, and you then from within also say, okay, this is what resonates, this is what you make your unique matching up, which leads us to living your best life. And soaring will only happen to the maximum of its potential if you allow yourself to draw outside the lines. This is where those character traits and feelings, because the essence of you, there are parts where character traits were perhaps said, these aren't really perfect. And so you can recognize where that is when you pay attention to the feeling, and then you allow yourself to do things in the way that you think is right for you. Obviously, this is without involving others. But when I say nurture your uniqueness, it's about doing things the way it feels best to you. I'll give you a silly example. I used to do to-do lists when I first embarked on the online marketing, online entrepreneur journey, because it was one of those best ways to tips. I'm somebody who does things my own way, but I also use that knowledge to test out what works for me or not. The same way I'm sure others that are already empowered do. Certain point I'm like, this to-do list really doesn't do anything, not to mention that it's unrealistic, and then seeing colleagues who would literally burn out and stress out because they did like 10 things on their to-do list. It's like, dude, you don't have to. No, but this successful human being did it, so I am afraid that I won't succeed because I'm not doing the to-do list. Do you, in whatever unique way. This involves trusting in you. And so that's how you soar, because you stop doing things because you think somebody else has a better way to do it, and you simply start trusting that you know the better way to do it for you. And you'll see that you will, in fact, not only feel more at ease because you're doing things in the way that fits you, feeling wise, emotionally, mentally, but you'll also succeed because it actually does work. And 3, the opportunities that are constant. This is where, as you remove the blinders, thinking that there is a way for any of us to not come from within when we're perceiving life. And I use the word ego self because literally we see and react with our bodies. And so the ego self is connected to that nervous system, to our primary and secondary consciousness, our subconscious and conscious. Everything that is a part of us is part of our ego. So if you get to know it and you tend to it, you help it feel secure like it wanted to feel secure as a child. You help it feel and know it is loved, and you remove the why in the labels that instead keeps you in the 3D, 4D space. That's where you'll find the maximum opportunity. If you stay in the other spaces, you'll still find opportunity because you're going to evaluate mentally and you're going to work through the emotions anyway. So it's the same thing, but you're not excelling as much as you could. That's all. And really, for you, and that's not you guys, because it's people that are in that space are not tuning in here, they excel to their maximum for their state of consciousness, because outside of that, there's the fear part. And it's more than just the word. It's like a bodily fear, and the mind has already created the data points, the reality, their truth that gives them the place of why what they're doing is the best for them. So respecting that is part of a 5D space. For those of us who are empowered, we know this, and those who pursue inner growth know this as well. So the why, there's no why. There's the unknown, and there's you choosing whatever you want to put in the why, which is essentially, it's an opportunity for me, and you choose how that is an opportunity, and you go about it with unconditional love and neutrality. And that's how, in the absence of judgment, in the absence of having to have an enemy or having to have something that you learned or didn't learn, so simply saying, it's today, and I'm going to have the opportunity of today. With that exchange, you are going to learn something that you will remember in a positive way, and then there's, tomorrow. So looking forward to being back next week, and hopefully this supports your week. So have a great, great week, and see you again